That's me filming in the front row and taking a dirt shower. My name's Sammy Ray, and you're watching Big Forest, Tiny Cabin. There are a lot of different ways to deal with stumps, and I think we've tried almost all of them. But after clearing land for 3 years, there are only 2 ways to go that we recommend. The first is to simply cut the stump off at ground level and leave it. This is what we do with the majority of our stumps. It's the easiest and cheapest thing to do, and over time the stump will rot out on its own. If you want to hurry the process along, you can use your chainsaw to carve a bowl shape or a crosshatch pattern into the top. This will allow water to collect and cause the stump to rot faster. The second route we recommend is to pull the stump. This is a lot more work, and we only do this when there's a need for the stump to be completely removed. So, for example, when we're going to till the land for a food plot or a garden, or we're clearing the land for a building site or a driveway. The stumps we're pulling today are on the very edge of the driveway, so they have to go. Of course, how difficult a stump will be to remove depends on its size, the soil conditions, and the species. We've found that aspen stumps are some of the easiest to pull, and that's good because that's what we have the most of. But we also have quite a few pine, and unfortunately they're some of the hardest to get out. These stumps are both from 35-year-old pine trees. They were cut down about a year ago. If you've decided a stump has to be removed, I'd suggest leaving it sit for 8 to 12 months before trying to remove it. Giving the roots time to start rotting makes the job go easier. These stumps are not overly large, but what's going to make them difficult to remove is that pine trees have a taproot. A taproot is a large root that grows directly downward from the trunk. All trees have a taproot as a seedling, but most don't develop the taproot as the tree matures. Pretty much just the oaks and pines. Normally, we would just cut the large roots near the base and then hook up and pull the stump. But for this video, we continued to dig further down so that you can see the taproots. You could already easily see the first one, and Jake was working to expose the second one. Over the years, these trees had all grown together, so we've cut through it and we'll pull it in pieces. The root structure of a tree is designed to anchor and stabilize it during high winds. This enables the tree to resist sideways movements. Because of this, it's easier to pull a stump straight up rather than to the side. The wheel will be used to change the direction of the pulling force to a more upward angle. Also, the wheel and chain act together as a fulcrum and lever, which will give us mechanical advantage. And lastly, the tire will help release tension on the chain once the stump lets go. We'll be using 2 different tire sizes today. The larger tire is preferred, and we'll use it for the second pull. A smaller tire will be used on the first pull, and you'll see that it does work, it's just not as productive. Always start with soft pulls. If the stump doesn't start to lift, then gradually increase the throttle for each following pull. It's safer and easier on the equipment. If you're enjoying this video, please subscribe or hit the like button. It really helps the channel. We're going to use the same process here, except we'll be using a larger tire. Start by running the chain under as many of the cut roots as you can, and then tightly secure the hook close to the stump. Try to keep the tire from leaning and position it firmly against the stump. Then pull the chain up and drape it across the center of the tread. Back up slowly to taunt the chain, and then visually check that everything is aligned straight. I'm adding a heavy moving blanket onto the chain to weigh it down. This will help to dampen any recoil if something should let go. There are several benefits to using a larger tire. The direction of the pull will change to a more upward angle, The upward angle will be retained for a longer period of time, and we will gain additional mechanical advantage. These things combine to produce better results. The pulling force on the stump is higher, and the truck has to do less work. Now just pull back slowly with as little throttle as possible. Once the stump lets go, the chain will relax and the tire will drop to its side. These are simple and inexpensive tools that we're using here today. A shovel, a chain, a D-ring, a wheel, and an axe. Now, if we could easily afford it, we might rent a stump grinder or a backhoe to remove the stumps. But in our area, a tracked stump grinder rents for $318 a day, and a mini excavator rental is $345 a day, plus $190 for delivery and pickup. In our world, that's a lot of money. So we try to use the tools that we have available here. Sometimes it's a little harder to do, or it takes a little more time, but the job gets done.